Hey there, Dave here along with Chris and Jordan and Chimmy. It is a poodle market today. Welcome to the Friday happy hour edition of Dumb Money Live, where we talk about whatever you all want us to talk about. Today, we're also going to be revealing the mystery stock trader who actually beat our returns in 2020. This is something that Chris tweeted a challenge looking for anyone who had better returns, and he put $10,000 up as a reward. Well, he found one, a guy who beat his returns not by a little, by a lot. So we're going to be revealing that. We're also going to be taking your questions in the live chat, so you got to do that. But first thing first, let's wake up the YouTube algorithm together. If you haven't tapped the like button, tap the like button. It's quick, it's easy, it's free. Happy Friday,
Dave,
Chris and Jordan.
happy Friday. We'll also discuss later on the show, so stick around, the new incentive research, call it a research bounty that we're going to be paying to our community members for coming up with good ideas and how that's going to work. That will happen later on in the show. Guys, I'm super excited about this. Last year was a nutty year. It was a year unlike anything I ever imagined would be possible in the stock market or for me personally. And for those of y'all that have been with Dumb Money since the beginning, which was like, when was the beginning of Dumb Money Live?
We
February of
started it
20?
pre-pandemic. It was I can't
February
remember.
20, right? Yeah. I
Was it?
think February of 20 or
I mean, we
January
did a
of 20.
couple just randomly. We just decided to do them, but it was on the old channel. And then for a
Yeah.
while, we were doing them on both channels before we finally stopped doing the lives on the original channel.
Dave, did you just introduce a new thing to Dumb? Is this the PupCam 5000?
I actually set this up because like she decided to be on the table. I have no choice. She like sits here and paws at me until she gets on the table, and then she feels comfortable. I think it's because when I
PupCam
use my
5000.
talking on TV voice, she gets like nervous or something
Man, I
instead of
need my
talking to my poodle voice.
where's my cats?
But
Where's
it is.
Sunny?
So
Sunny.
this could become a thing. Have you seen the TikTok star, the dog that they every morning they place, they stand it up and then they let go, and it either
Yeah.
melts to the ground or it will stay standing, and it's either a
Yeah,
bones or no bones day.
Yeah.
This could be a poodle market.
Here's the deal. For me, it's always a no bones day. It's 100% no bones day at my house.
Oh my God. All
This
right,
is what
guys.
it's come to.
I would
But,
bring
I
my
mean,
dog on the table, but then I think my table would collapse. I don't think that would be a good idea.
you're gonna need a bigger table.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jimmy has
Peter,
realized she is perfectly sized for this table, and she just is right at home. Doesn't have any need to. I mean, you think eventually she might get thirsty or something. I'm gonna have to get a dog bowl and put it over here.
All right. Let's talk about this winter. So last year, crazy year. I think from February to October, my account jumped from 5.5 million to 35 million or something like that, right? So it was like a $30 million gain. I was like, this is insane. Like, this is just, I'll never do this again. And it was like, honestly, it was like 9 months of the hardest working social arb trading we have ever done. All three of us were on it. Our whole community was on it. Probably half those trades came from the community. And at the time, there were a lot of people on Twitter, on FinTwit, that were just pushing junk, and everybody was an expert, right? Everybody was a market genius. And I thought, I would like to figure out if there actually are people out there in the world that have done something spectacular this year, that did something like I had done. I would love to find out who those people are, what their strategies are, what they're doing right, and kind of separate legitimacy from just pumpers that were out
because
there, right?
there was a lot at the time on FinTwit, as you said.
Yeah.
Can you remind us what your returns were in 2020?
I don't. All I remember was at the time I did the contest, I think I was up like 30 million from like 5 or 6 million to 35-ish million, like right in that range. And I don't know from a percentage standpoint, I don't know what that is. But
7x.
you can do so roughly 7x. But you got to realize that was a portfolio that I'm not treating it like a $10,000 portfolio. It was literally my life's the life savings that I had in a public account, right? I have private investments, of course, but I don't just YOLO that money in derivatives and just see if we can double it every week. That's not how it worked. So that was actually making numerous strategic investments, and almost every one of them just completely crushed on the short side and then the long side. If you remember, we went really short the market in February due to the pandemic coming out of China. We were converting Chinese blogs and newspapers to understand what was happening when the rest of the world was just not believing what was about to happen. I had almost my entire account short going into that market crash. Yep. And then about 2 days after we hit bottom, I went levered long on about 14 different companies I had been strategizing on with you guys in the community. Peloton, all the names, Shopify, Amazon, all the stuff, right? So the great outdoors, we did so many episodes on that stuff. But here's the thing, guys. I did this whole thing on Twitter, and it went viral, and I got a crazy number of submissions, and that's why it took me a year almost to go through them to check the legitimacy. And there were a lot of really good traders, and I'd like to bring some of them on the show over the course of time. But there was one in particular, and I actually can't believe it. I mean, this person, I will say it's a male. This person not only beat my performance last year, but he crushed my performance. And the numbers that he put up were so unbelievable that, and he's such a private person, he asked me to never say who he was. He doesn't want his name getting out there. He doesn't want that type of attention. But he does have a Twitter account that he started in the last year, and he does really believe in sharing knowledge and really helping other people and collaborating. But he's not the type of person that wants to do it on a very personal basis, like exposing his identity and his family. So that said, he wants me to pay this bounty, this $10,000 bounty, to some random person that I guess he knows that identified the contest for him, because he says it's a game changer in this other person's life. So today I'm going to Venmo that money, $10,000 today, to the person he asked me to Venmo it to. So that's happening today.
You should do it live on the show.
Well, I don't know if that person wants to be outed either. I just don't. It's a private thing, right? So I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. But I'm so happy that after months and months of me kind of talking to this person, that he said it would be okay for me to expose his Twitter account. And I want to say something, guys. The majority of his biggest trades last year were EV trades. And it's not because he was hopping on an EV bandwagon. This individual had been researching and preparing for this EV trade for many, many years, he told me. So he does really deep dive research into EV. He does deep dive research into a number of industry sectors. I've gotten to know him quite well over the past, call it 8 months, 8 or 9 months. He shared some of his knowledge with me. He was the person primarily that got me into Lithium America, LAC. Thank you. He also got me into numerous other battery supply chain trades. In addition to, I must give some credit to my other friend and former employee, Ticker Tags, Trishul, who's also very big in this space and has gotten me into some great trades there. But I do want to say, guys, I follow him on Twitter and highly recommend that everybody. I'm not going to say. Listen, he's not an investment
what's the Twitter
advisor.
Handle? You're leaving us in such great suspense.
I need to say this first.
Wait,
we're not advisors.
We're not. I thought we were doing the blacked out face and like the FBI informant voice. We're not doing that with him.
I mean, we could totally do that if you want to.
We could maybe if he wants to come on. If he wants to come on the show, he can. But I don't want to pressure him to do that. All I'm going to say is this: couple things. Most outstanding performance I'd ever seen in the history of the stock market. This person might have had the #1 greatest year that any individual human being has ever had in the history of trading stocks, period. Okay. And I'm pretty confident that's the truth. Okay. Number 2, He's such a nice guy. Number three, he is okay sharing a lot of his insights, but he's not a financial advisor. So do not follow everything that he says to do on Twitter. Once we give out his handle, do not follow everything we say to do because we're not financial advisors. I'm just sharing with you his Twitter handle so that you guys can start to form a bond with him because he's trying to do the right thing and he really wants to educate and share knowledge with people. So
By the time we get
Dave,
this
you
Twitter
have it.
handle,
Put it
the
up.
show's going to be over.
Put it up. Put it up.
What?
Put
I don't
it
even
up.
know who it is.
I texted it to you. I know you hate it when I do that.
Okay. Well,
I'll tell you how
Okay.
secret it is. I haven't even gotten this Twitter handle before today, so I have no idea.
I have mentioned this person to you.
You've
in
mentioned
the past.
him to me, but you've never shared his Twitter handle.
Okay, here it is. It is
okay.
Dante's Trading. He's been
has
on Twitter since
5,000
2013. He has 5,167 followers. He's followed by you and Jack Schwager. What else do we know about him? There's an ad for local hospital. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm just going to say, guys, just sharing this information with this community, this is alpha right here, guys. I'm telling you, access to this guy is alpha. Just access to his brain alone is alpha. Not that he's perfect. This guy is not perfect, right? He's just a person. But highly recommend following this dude. When you follow him,
there's someone kicking the tires to potentially acquire LAC.
So he says.
Maybe.
When you follow him, give a shout out to Dumb Money. The Dumb Money's venue there. What was that?
That was.
And by the way, knowing the types of stocks that he is in, I haven't even asked him in a while how well he's doing. I can't even imagine how well he's doing because this guy does not get shaken easily out of positions, and a lot of his positions I think were down earlier in the year. This is the type of person he'll just double down in him. He doesn't care. Like he has conviction in what he trades.
All right.
I can't even imagine how much money he's up right now this year. But anyway, enjoy following him. I do. I'm really happy to share this with the community. I mean, honestly, I think this might be the biggest piece of alpha we've ever shared. Right. Is just access to this person. I just started
following him. He is. Is he a turtle? Because it looks like he's wearing the "I'm not a cat" bandana.
No, that is a Raphael. It's a Halloween outfit, right? Raphael, the Ninja Turtle. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna call this guy. I'm gonna call this guy Dante's the world's #1 big money trader. I wanted to be the world's #1 big money trader.
You looked at actual brokerage statements and you saw his trades.
I'm not going to go into my verification process because it was different with every person that I validated. I do not want to be responsible for any sort of saying that he did or didn't do something validated. That I'm not an auditor. I don't want to get into that. Let me just say this. I am comfortable enough to write a $10,000 check based on what I know about this person. So I'm comfortable. For me, I'm not making validation for anybody else. I'm not pumping. Listen, if he theoretically was a fraud, that's on you guys that are not me. I want nothing to do with this. I don't make money off this person. I'm losing money. Actually, I do make money off him. He's gotten me into some great trades.
He's up to 5,476 in the follower count, which I think this would be a great time to remind everyone to follow the three of us. I barely ever tweet, so when I do, it's hopefully interesting. At Dave Hansen. Chris is like a madman on Twitter these days.
Not anymore. Not
hundreds of thousands of people following him.
You've got a check mark now, Chris.
What?
I think you've got a check mark now.
I know. They gave me a check mark. That was nice.
Yeah,
how did you get that?
They gave me a check mark.
Did you request that?
I did request it because my account was getting spoofed every 2 to 3 weeks, and I feel a little bit better having a check mark. So it is kind of nice.
Wow, this
from
is
a
a big day. I'm followed by someone with a blue check mark.
If they give that to me, they'd give it to anybody.
No, they actually don't. They have very specific rules. You have to be a public figure. You have to have a certain level of notoriety within Twitter. They actually just clarified the rules when they put the checkmark program back into place.
Guys, I'm not going to pick. I'm not going to pair this guy to Elon. Yeah, Elon probably made more. Elon makes more money than anyone. But I'm talking about just a normal, regular person who has become a big money trader and trades with high conviction, huge amounts of money, and just destroys it, unlike anyone I've ever seen on Earth. This is the person. So yeah, that's it. So here's the deal. I want to be the world's biggest big money trader. I don't want Dante's guy. I love him, but I want to beat him. I want to be better than him. So I need to up my game. And the only way I have to do that is to incentivize our community to make me better. Because I finally realized, guys, God, there are people in our community that are like better than me at surfacing some of this stuff. And I want to incentivize him. So here's what we're going to do starting today, starting Monday. I'm going to commit to checking our Discord every single week, the dumbmoney.tv/Discord every single week. I'm going to look in that high conviction trade channel, and I might look under the research channel as well, just to see what people are recommending. And anyone that I see who is really making a differentiated social arb call, who's surfacing an insight that I'm not aware of, whether I trade it or not, if I think it's really good, I'm going to like Venmo them or PayPal them some cash. It could be between $100 and $10,000, and I'm going to try to do that every week. I'm
Am
going to
I eligible for
guarantee.
this, Chris?
Yes, you qualify. I'm never going to pay you, but you qualify technically. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to do that every week. I will guarantee I will at least give away $10,000 in the next year. But I hope to give away $100,000 or more in the next year just by Venmoing people money every week. And so it's the least I can do. And I just want to reinvigorate the community to work a little bit harder to surface some of these high conviction social arb trades. But even if it's not high conviction, just something that you see in the world that has potential to move a stock or an industry sector. It could be a trend, it could be a cultural shift, it could be a product or a brand or a difference in the way people are doing things out there in the world. It could be a government regulation, it could be a technology, it could be a weather event, it could be anything. This is what social arb trading is all about. And if you're not familiar with social arb trading, go back and watch our videos from last year. So here's the thing, guys. I'm really into social arb. So I'm probably going to skim over stuff that isn't social arb just because it's not what I do and it's not what I care about. So if it's social arb and you're just surfacing something unique that could potentially be a game changer, that's what I'm looking for and that's what I'm going to pay people for. Okay. So yeah, let's call it a research budget, and it's all going to happen inside the dumbmoney.tv/Discord community. So that's what I wanted to announce today. I hope you guys, can, get back in that Discord and let's come up with some good stuff the next couple months. I'm anxious. I'm anxious for a big monster trade. By the way, did you see TPR, Tapestry Coach come out with earnings? I sold a chunk of that position like a week and a half ago. Thank goodness I only sold the chunk of it. I meant to sell more of it and I forgot. But man, they crushed earnings, just absolutely crushed earnings because of e-com sales. So I actually sold the chunk more today, and I'm probably going to start to exit most of my TPR position now. But man, that was a nice earnings call they had last night. So that's it.
Nice
what else do we want to talk about on the show?
That actually,
what I want to talk about. I want to talk about buy now, pay later, because I feel like I missed the boat really big on Affirm. I think look, I don't know if it's the future, but I've been starting to read people, and there are a lot of people that are really pumped about this, thinking that it could replace some major credit card purchases in the future. So Affirm's a big one. I feel like they're to the point to where I don't know if I want to jump in at this point, but there are other players. I'm looking at Marquette, and they just IPO'd maybe 2-3 months ago. But what they're doing interesting in the space is that they kind of want to be an API/underlayer, and they also make kind of like credit cards, but for the buy now, pay later space. And there are a ton of people use it. Affirm uses them. Square uses them. PayPal might. I don't remember, but There's some major players using these guys. I feel like they're kind of unnoticed, but they're again, I mean, they're trading at like 25 times forward sales, and so it gets, some of these are tough to invest in, but I feel like it is, maybe the future of some of these larger purchases.
Jordan, I
Well, we
need a
know for a
way.
fact that Amazon's going to use Affirm as an option for anything larger than, well, I don't remember, like maybe $100 or something like that, where you'll be able to use Affirm for some dollar figure purchases.
I need to figure out a way, Jordan, to monitor and track the traction on some of this stuff, because like I'm kind of clueless to it. I was an investor in a firm. I got squeezed out of it when I got margin called this summer, and I'm really upset that I don't have a firm right now. But it's really hard as from a social arb standpoint to track that stuff. I would love to figure
Yeah.
it out. If you can look into it, let's maybe do an episode on this in a standalone episode in the next couple of weeks, because it is a really cool sector.
Yeah, I feel like we've got enough smart people in our network to start to figure out what does this space look like, because it's expensive right now, but I think that's okay if it's going to grow as big as some people think it's going to grow, and it could, right? Because you get more flexible payment options than you would with a traditional credit card, right? It's easy to swipe that card, but if you don't pay it off right away, you could be paying 18% interest, 20% interest.
It's such an interesting business model, because it is like it is kind of like this crazy high interest if you don't make the payments, and it's introducing like a new way to pay for people who may not be able to get a credit card. It's I don't really know enough about it to be an investor in
Pedro says it does fine as long as the economy is doing well. When liquidity dries up, though, watch out, because people are not going to care about defaulting on their TV payment, right?
Yeah, I mean, so here's the positive, right? And I'm not saying it's practical, because it's totally impractical, but with requiring that it be these bigger ticket items, and I don't mean like huge, we could be talking, it's a physical good, right? So it's something that has
yeah, but they don't come repossessing a physical good,
right?
Isn't it unsecured debt,
you're
much
going
like
out
a
and
credit
buying
card?
a latte with these things.
Isn't it unsecured debt like a credit card, though, where they're not going to come repo your TV? It's
I mean, technically yes, but I think they could. Like if it's a Peloton and you stop paying on that thing, I bet somebody's going to show up at your door and be like, "We need the bike," right? Now, if it's a vacuum cleaner, it's $150 or $200, and you default on that, then I bet they don't care.
It seems really expensive to send someone to pick a Peloton bike up, though.
I know.
Like,
I know.
Oh, you want to carry that down from my third floor walk up? Okay.
Yeah.
All I have to do is not unlock the door too. I don't know. It's a interesting business model. Isn't it kind of like a repackaging of the old layaway or rent to own or some like old timey?
Kind of. I think what they're trying to do is just eat into that credit card market, right? So you look at credit cards, and it's basically a cash register. It's just a big money printing press, but they're, for the most part, what it is what it is, right? They're just going to do whatever the economy does. But what BNPL is going to do is they're just going to come in and start eating that. And how much of it can they eat over the next decade?
I know it's great for retailers because it increases their cart totals, right? When you get to the checkout and you have the ability to split it into 7 easy payments. Have you ever even tried that, though? What does it even take? Do they do a credit check? Is it do I have to unfreeze my credit when I apply for it?
I want to say that they do like a real time, and I don't know if it's a hard or soft pull. I was reading an article. I need to dive down a little bit deeper, but they do some sort of verification on the buyer.
I need to do more work on that too, Jordan.
Yeah.
I don't fully understand, the pros and cons of the space.
But Marqeta had blowout earnings yesterday, just kind of like Affirm had blowout earnings what was it, like a week ago? So
people keep talking about this. We had a big episode on Discovery a few months ago, and we got out of it once they announced that merger. The Discovery was Time Warner, like HBO. It was like a monster merger because it was no longer a pure play. So it screwed up my entire thesis, and a bunch of people have been telling me, look at Discovery again, look at Discovery. I guess I haven't done it. I will take a look. I just made a note to look at Discovery this weekend again, see what's changed. It's just a harder trade right now, Discovery, because it is it's just a bigger beast.
Yeah.
Coinbase NFT, I think, is still one of the most interesting large-scale social arb trades going into the new year. I mean, Coinbase is going to launch an NFT market. I don't want to start trading it yet, but as we get closer to the launch of that market, I think there's a huge opportunity to acquire NFTs that are going to be on the Coinbase exchange before they launch the exchange by buying those NFTs through traditional models on OpenSea. So my understanding is there will be very few NFTs on Coinbase when it launches. So an opportunity to pick up all those NFTs because they'll be the only ones that people can buy. And I would assume at the floor and all those NFTs are going to go up considerably in a very short period of time, like in a day, days to a couple weeks once that platform launches. So we'll be talking about that more around the holidays as we get closer
Have you?
to the
You're
marketplace.
still in Coinbase though, right? Have you seen what their chart looks like? They've come back
Yeah.
from their this terrible first quarter as a public company.
Yes.
They've just rocketed.
Dave, I'm in Coinbase, but it's 1,000 shares. It's not like I
Yeah.
have that much for the the account size of mine. It's not like I have that much Coinbase. I also
And
have
they did
1,000
just miss
shares.
earnings, and so that's why they're off a little bit. But
Yeah.
it's just I was kind of just like, well, I'm not selling my Coinbase. Eventually, this is going to come back. This is a company that I believe in. I use as a customer.
I do have them in the foundation for 1,000 as well. So I have 2,000 shares of Coinbase, and I would consider ramping up my Coinbase into the launch of this NFT marketplace, maybe a week or 2 or 3 weeks before. I don't know that they have definite timing on that launch, but that's a really exciting event, guys. I don't think people understand how big of a deal that is for Coinbase.
According to my my app here, Charles Schwab, I'm up 1,829% in Coinbase because I was in the pre-IPO shares.
Oh,
I don't know if my cost basis is right. I might have to fix that, but
it's screwy. By the way, I think someone wants us to talk about Toast got destroyed, guys, on earnings,
toast
man.
is toast.
Toast is toast.
I'm in that.
I have not sold any of my Toast shares. Here's the thing, it's really hard to anticipate what the market's looking for on these initial earnings calls. Toast is one of those situations. Man, that thing just got rocked. I'm not touching my Toast position right here. I have not sold out at this point. What else, guys? What do you want us to talk about? I think Leon was asking about the SEC and crypto. Leon, unless something meaningful happens that is like imminent with the SEC and crypto, I'm just not paying attention, man. My position on crypto. The SEC is either going to shut it down eventually, not the SEC. Some entity will either kind of try to pull crypto back or they won't. And if they don't, I think it's a 10x from here or more. If they do, then we might get all screwed.
It's
But
a 9x.
I don't care. I'm willing to roll the dice on too big to fail for the crypto markets, and I am evenly split between Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. There's nothing sexy about that trade. It's just the big three that most people are in.
So we did have the that big ETF fail to make it through today, so that was news.
I didn't hear you, Jordan. What was that?
What was the Bitcoin ETF failed today, so they didn't make it through.
Yeah, the
I
one
think
where they're
that's
trying to have the actual tied to real underlying assets, and it would
right.
put trillions of dollars into the market.
Big
That'll
Five
happen eventually. It's just a matter of time, right?
Big Five Sporting Goods crushed it, and I'd already sold my shares. I got squeezed out of that one too. I'm so upset with myself for selling my shares in Big Five. They crushed it. Funko had earnings and
people want to hear about Funko earnings.
I didn't listen to the call yet. I haven't listened to it. The stock hasn't moved. I'm surprised to hear someone say that the CEO was amped about NFT because I just assumed their NFT strategy was in the trash at this point. Like I'm so disappointed in it.
Looks like
But
they beat their earnings estimates by 43%, and they
was it
beat their
based on
revenue
those?
by 11%. And
Was
the
it the
stock,
backpacks, Dave? Was it the
what's
Disney
that?
backpacks? Was it the Disney backpacks?
I mean, I'll have to scan the transcript here, but they did go up right after earnings, and then they came back down to basically where they were right before earnings. So
Okay, I have nothing to comment on Funko yet, but I will do some work on that this weekend, guys. Let's see here. What else? How do we track earnings so quick? I don't think we do track earnings so quickly. I mean, usually half the time I don't even know that the company had
you're
earnings.
like,
that I
wait,
own.
Funko had
You look and
earnings?
see, oh, the stock's down 10%. I wonder what happened. Oh.
I track it quickly because while you're talking, I'm Googling.
Come on, guys. What do you want to talk about? Any questions at all? I'll start scrolling back through the question list.
Yeah, if you have a question mark in your question, I'm filtering for those so that I can
I'm not
see.
prepared to make a strong statement on Molson Coors right now, guys. I have work I need to do on that. Same thing with, dude, I just don't own enough Posh to really keep track of it at this point. So I haven't been tracking Posh either. Sorry.
Oh, I sold that thing in the 40s. Thank goodness.
Yeah, that was a
for
devastating
you.
earnings call right there.
Yeah.
Posh. I don't know what happened. Let's see. Scrolling up.
How about Playa? People are asking about that, which you and I are still in that, I believe, and it is
Oh,
losing money.
dude, Playa. I want to talk about Playa. This is wild. Did you see what happened at Playa, guys? Did you see this?
No.
And do you remember when I said that the only thing that could screw up my Playa trade, half jokingly, was a mass shooting at one of their 14 resorts? Well,
Wait,
last week,
that's not what happened. Is it
yep.
really?
Did you not see the Cancun
No, I did
super
see that.
resort? That
I did
was
see
the
that, but I
one of
didn't
the
know that it was
Playas.
at a Playa property.
Yeah, it was the big Playa property in Cancun. Dave, that was on earnings day. Dave, that
Awful.
happened. That happened within an hour of the earnings report. So here's what happened to Playa.
Did they delay the earnings report like
No,
Tattooed Chef did the
Playa
other day?
crushed earnings. They had a great earnings report. Stock started to go up, and then this news started to circulate about a gang altercation at one of their resorts where they had to basically bring every person inside the resort, and they did a lock-in because it wasn't safe to be outside in the middle of Cancun. This is absolutely devastating for that resort. Not a good thing in general for Cancun or for Mexican vacation travel. I don't know how meaningful this one incident is, quite honestly, but it's not a good thing, and it really pisses me off because Playa was it was a nice earnings report, and it would have been up a solid 10%, I think, on earnings.
Yeah, I saw the story. I just didn't associate it with Playa.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's a good thing from a branding standpoint that their name wasn't all over the news story.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about having like a parent company or an umbrella company that has a different name than the individual resorts that are in its portfolio, right?
Yeah.
But still, it's not good for Playa. I sold a little bit of Playa. Yeah, it's the Hyatt Ziva Resort in Cancun. I did sell some, guys, but I still have the majority of my Playa. Let's see. What else? Tesla. I am thinking about buying more Tesla come next week. So I
Really?
think that well, here's the thing. Elon, who's tracking this like 24/7 is our buddy Kevin. Meet Kevin. He's got like 90% of his 50% of his portfolio. Is it 90 or 50? I forget.
It's a crazy high number. It's
In Tesla. So here's the thing. Elon is selling every day. So he's obviously cashing out, but he doesn't want to tank the stock, obviously. So I'm thinking it will take him another week, maybe 2 weeks to be fully out. What's so interesting about this trade, it's one of the very few times that we know more or less exactly how much the largest shareholder is going to sell, because he essentially told us he's selling 10% of his position. So every day, basically every day, we get a report on how many shares Elon sold, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago. So now everyone's keeping track of this, right? So it seems so obvious, but I think the obvious trade here is when he gets within 10% of selling his 10%. So when he's like sold 9% of his stock, or 8 or 9%, and we know we're getting close to the end, I'm going in on Tesla more. I'm going to dig in on Tesla deeper at that point, because that selling pressure is huge. And when that selling pressure is gone, I think there's going to be kind of a natural sentiment towards Elon's done, buy the dip now. I'm already starting to see some rumblings of that, but you have to front run the front runners, right? So if the front runners are thinking about doing what I just said, how do we front run that? Maybe you have to get in when he's like 7% out, 7 to 8%. If everyone else is looking to get in when he's 8 to 9% out, there's a moment in time when I think the risk reward is pretty interesting. Either adding to Tesla shares or even doing a little short-term options trade on Tesla call.
That's what I would look at doing, just because I already have so much Tesla. I can't put more Tesla in my portfolio. I just can't do it.
You can.
I mean,
you have room and margin, I bet.
I'd have to sell other stuff because they don't let you margin as at the same ratio on Tesla as other stocks.
By the way, guys, if you want to know what Dante's primary strategy in trading is, I kind of know what it is, but I don't want to reveal it. Why don't you ask him on Twitter, and I'm sure he'll answer for you guys. So Jordan, you're still not in Tesla at all. This might be the time for you to pick up a little Tesla.
At $1,000. Good joke.
Sure. Why not? Honestly, just start with $1,000. Yeah, I mean, just.
No, I'm saying with the stock at $1,000, like 0% chance.
Oh, okay, $1,000. Yes. Why not? Why not, Jordan? It's better than.
You think Tesla's going to, in 5 years, be worth less than $1,000 a share? You got to think about your time horizon there.
I have no problem with Tesla. I love the company. I don't need the shares. I've got other shares that I'm buying and things. Like, I just, it's. I hope you guys make tons of money in Tesla. Well, I know you already have, but.
I hate quoting stock price. It's $1 trillion. So yeah. $1 trillion. Tesla, $1 trillion. Yeah. Can Tesla be $2 trillion? I think it could be $2 trillion someday. I think it's a possibility. Or as a possibility, it could be worth 200 billion and you get screwed. I don't know. Dave, did you buy?
I look for maybe a little bit more sure things. I don't know.
I think I'd rather own Tesla at $1 trillion than own Rivian at $120 billion.
I do agree with that. If you twisted my arm and made me buy one of the two stocks, it would be Tesla.
Yeah, 124 billion right now on Rivian. Oh,
I can't do it.
Yeah, I did not get into Rivian at all. I couldn't do it, and I don't feel like I'm missing out after that big run up to 128.
Well, it happened like in a day.
Well, no, this is a 2.5 day chart we're looking at.
Right. But we've had 1 day of flat. Like today's been flat, and the last day and a half has been.
It's up 20%.
And
if you happen to buy at that dip at the beginning, it's up 32%.
Yeah, if you'd have bought it when it hit because I saw it at 97 in TD, and I'm like, can't do it. Should have. I mean, I free 30%.
Oh, this is interesting on Tesla. Rule 144, controlling persons being able to sell 1% of the company or average of 4 weeks every 90 days. Oh, that's interesting. So, So that would say that Elon might be limited as to how much he can sell in any defined period of time. Okay, I didn't take that into consideration. That's something worth looking into. Let's talk about Robinhood. Robinhood, the unlock is happening. We're involved in that unlock. I actually have multiple shares of Robinhood being sent to me. I have the shares that we own independently, but I also have shares of Robinhood from that Series A fund that I was in that invested. It was like the seed and Series A investors in Robinhood.
Do they send you
Thank you.
those, or do they just liquidate them and then?
Yes. Thank you, Howard Lindzon. Thank you very much for buying those shares of Robinhood. We're in Howard's venture fund. So yeah, no, Jordan, it's
And by
really
we,
interesting.
he means he.
Me.
Yeah,
So
I didn't know Howard at that point in time.
I did, but I did not get the invite.
you could have invested in the fund.
If I'd have known about it.
Here's the thing. It's really interesting when you're invested in a venture fund that invests in a startup and that startup eventually IPOs. What happens is those shares of stock get transferred through a transfer agent to the venture fund. And that takes anywhere between 3 and 4 days. Then the venture fund takes that stock and transfers it out to the individual limited partners in that fund. That takes an additional 3 to 4 days. The reason why I'm saying this is because everybody tries to understand what these lockup windows and like how they actually work. So the second that those shares get unlocked, which I believe is December 1st, doesn't actually mean that most people who own the stock can sell on December 1st. For a lot of people, it takes anywhere from 3 to 4 days. And for most LPs, they could be waiting between 6 and 8 business days until the stock is in their account. That's how long it's going to take me to get my Robinhood shares. So if you think about it, we might see selling pressure in Robinhood that maybe starts on December 1st and goes through December 9th or 10th. That said, most institutions and market makers will kind of front run these trades. They already have for many months with Robinhood. So a lot of this kind of expected, expected selling of held up Robinhood shares has already been factored into the price. So it's really not black and white, and it's not a simple thing to understand. But I thought it was interesting. A lot of people don't know exactly how that works with the transferring of shares when you're in these early stage VCs. Are you guys going to keep all your Robinhood shares though, or are you going to sell?
I haven't fully decided, but I'm about 90% sure I'm just going to keep them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll probably keep mine and just park them right next to my Schwab shares.
I mean, Robinhood.
Oh yeah, the all-time highs, baby, or like close to it.
I know that's all these financial stocks are doing pretty
well. It's
well.
Like 81.70 right now. I don't remember what I got in, but I would think it would be like $40 or something like that, 40 or 50.
I would imagine that Hood's starting to have a bit of a better quarter, right? Because the volume of trading, from what I understand, is picking up, even though Hood stock is getting beaten down.
Well, look, I mean, they had a hack, right?
I mean,
Again,
yeah, but does that
one more?
What does that matter in Robinhood land? Like, you got to do a lot worse to Robinhood to scare customers off at this point than a hack. Like, could you imagine what it would take to cause a Robinhood account holder to close their account at this point? I mean, what is it? What would it take?
I don't know.
No idea.
Yeah,
I have no idea. What's the right share price to get into Rivian? I don't trade share price, so I have no idea. For me, it's all about understanding something that is propelling that stock that the market doesn't see. Like, well, what am I arbing? And if I can't arb something, I'm not trading it. And right now, everything I know about that company that's great and wonderful, the market fully appreciates. So I have no reason to be in the stock. Let's see.
I'll say it differently. I think the market overappreciates it.
I agree with you, Jordan. That's what we were saying last episode too. Pedro saying banks are going up likely due to the risk of Biden replacing Powell to a more hawkish Fed chair that would increase rates faster. I don't think Biden. I don't know. I don't think they're going to rock the boat, man. I don't think
banks have been kind of flat. At least my city's been flat. Yeah, it's been flat. Look, I mean, rates. They haven't been going up. We had that little rate shock, 3 days ago? But they're just not going up. It's just not going up right now.
Here's one that I want to just throw on the screen. about ONON, potential supply chain issues and earnings today. I didn't realize the earnings were today. When I looked at the chart, it didn't have the little earnings line on it.
So did they come out with earnings today, this morning?
I think that they are going to be coming out with earnings, according to
It's
that.
Friday. No, it's Friday. You can't come out with earnings after market.
They don't do aftermarket on Friday.
Well, Mitchell said earnings today. Now I have to do some Googling. I'll be right with you.
Maybe they were this morning. But there's something I do want to talk about. I got a text message from Patrick, our buddy Patrick, a few
Big
days
meeting
ago.
says November 16th, Dave.
November 16th, according to Google, yes. But that's coming right up. And I don't know what to do with that stock.
Oh, you own it?
Yes.
Oh.
I've owned it since
I would
we did
sell
our
the shares, buy the shoes. That's my financial advice.
I did buy some of the shoes, and I actually like them.
I know. I've been wanting some. I'm just...
I don't like the shoes.
What stock am I going to sell to afford some shoes?
I couldn't find them on Zappos, so I actually had to go to a physical store to buy them.
Oh, you bought them in a store? You didn't just get them on the internet?
Well, I couldn't really tell. I wanted to try them on, and I really tried on I wanted them for a hiking kind of shoe, but I thought they were too firm, and I did not like the way they felt, so I just got the normal street shoes.
Well, they have... Okay.
The street shoes are great.
Right. But the hiking version is too tight or too rigid?
For me. I mean, I guess if you're actually hiking, if you're doing something...
Yeah, you probably want that.
Actual, like, climbing a rock, yeah, you probably want that. I'm just kind of lightly walking down a paved...
Right.
Not a paved, but a manicured path somewhere, and
some decomposed natural granite. Did you go to Run On or to Tyler's?
I think I went to a Run On. Yeah,
nice.
It was over on Preston at like Forest Royal, because those are the same street to me. I don't know what.
They're friendly people.
So Chewy. Someone once asked about Chewy stock. They know that we're in. We had that old position in BarkBox, which is doing terrible. And
I do not have BarkBox. I'm out.
I still have some BarkBox. Chewy, it's interesting. I think about this all the time, and I'm really trying to make a decision on Chewy stock. I mean, it's not as obscene as it was, earlier this year when it was trading at 110. It's down to like 76. I don't know, guys. So I really need to understand. We went through this puppy phase, right? So the puppy phase is a big deal this last year. I feel like the puppy phase is kind of normalizing now, but now we're getting into more of a, grown-up dog phase. In fact, it's funny, now that I have a puppy, I'm taking my puppy on walks.
There's dogs now.
Well, no, here's the thing though. It's amazing that almost every dog that we see on our walks that we talk to, people are like, oh, mine's 6 months old, mine's 8 months old, it's really interesting. Like 80% of the dogs that we're seeing are all like puppy age, like 0 to 1 year old.
You can't take like a 2-month-old puppy for a walk. So there is a little bit of...
what I mean by like young dogs, they're all like 3 months to 12 months old, right?
Right.
So it's fascinating how many puppies there are out there. As these puppies age into dogs, is that a positive or a negative for a Chewy, right? Do we buy more? I think just naturally, when you think about how dog food works, and this is getting a little scientific, but dog foods are based on how many pounds your dog is, right? And I think you do generally give a growing puppy more food per pound of dog than a grown-up dog. But in general, a grown-up dog does need more food daily, which would mean more money spent daily on an adult dog. Jordan, I mean, you've been through the full cycle, and Dave, you have as well. So is that not correct that you generally would spend more money on dog food for an adult dog than a year one dog? Is that...
Well, I think what the nice thing about having an adult dog is that you're in the rhythm, you know exactly what you need, and you know that you need a shipment once a month or once every 6 weeks or whatever it is, and you just put that into Chewy and it shows up, right? When you're in a puppy stage, you've got more variables, and you run out, and you run over to Petco or whatever. But once you get,
that's not what I'm asking. What I'm asking is, how does your dog?
You're more likely to buy from Chewy because it's a subscription service. Once you have an adult dog, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, that's super fair, because you're like done going to the local dog place that was very exciting when you had a puppy.
Done with it being variable. Now it's like constant.
constant. So that probably benefits Chewy. And then you meet other dog owners and like, what are you doing? Just order from Chewy. Why are you
Yeah, you
spending money?
like throw your back out going to Petco. No, dude, I had a box from Chewy show up today. It was at the front doorstep. It's awesome.
Okay,
Now,
fine. But
I will tell you, FedEx employees hate Chewy because it's
because
the
it's all
heaviest
heavy
boxes
dog
that they
food.
deliver.
Yeah. So here's the thing that I've personally just found with Chewy, and I'm a customer, but they were having supply chain issues, and Chimmy's normal, it's a poodle market. Chimmy's normal food was sold out on Chewy. I could not get it, but I did find it on Amazon. So now I have her preferred food coming from Amazon. I went ahead and added it to the subscription. It was the same price. Now it's cheaper because I've got the subscribe and save thing going. Her prescription dog food still comes from Chewy, but I'm now was able to switch. So I don't know if that adds, if that just adds another thing. I mean, that's obviously the supply chain is hitting everyone. It would hit Amazon suppliers as well as Chewy, but I don't know really what to think about that.
Well, here, Dave, that's getting back to what the text I got. This is from Patrick. He said, I'm about to buy $2,000 of cat food. Make sure you guys are stocked up on your pet food. I'm hearing shortages are coming soon. I believe it's related to a canning shortage, I believe. Although maybe it goes deeper than that. But so temporarily, here's my thought. I am sure that I'm not the only person in the world that got that text message this week, meaning Patrick probably saw a news show or something, right? Is this going to are we going to have an artificial quarter of people stocking up at dog food? Because you know what I did?
Is dog food the next toilet paper where we're just going to buy more than we need just in case?
Oh,
but
what
does Chris Camillo do?
Subscribe and save didn't show up with the toilet paper. And so then I bought and Adrian bought like different brands. And so then we have a surplus of toilet paper. So
it was okay, but here's the thing. Jordan, I got that text and I bought 4 months of cat food for 2 cats and 3 months of dog food for our puppy. Okay, that's what I did. And so what I'm saying is if that rumor's starting to go around, and I'm not confident that it's really hitting, going around in a scalable way, but we should monitor G trends, monitor social traffic. And if it really does seem like people are freaking out over the dog and cat food shortage, I think that will basically fuel a massive amount of stockpiling. Because as we all know, these shortages, most of them are not real. Most of them have some truth to them. They have some truth to them, but it's not like we're going to run out of dog or cat food. It's just you might not be able to get your primary brand all the time. They might be, back ordered for a couple weeks here and there. But the going out and stockpiling, that will drive massive earnings growth for a single quarter. And if that's happening this quarter, I want to know about it because I will go all in on Chewy. All in on Chewy if that happens. But
here's the thing. It's a zero danger thing, right? Because dog food lasts, it's freeze dried, so it lasts not forever, but it lasts a long time.
Mm-hmm. I don't see a noticeable spike up in searches for dog food or cat food. And when I added sold out to that, there was not enough traffic to even draw it on the chart.
I saw the same thing, Dave, which is why I wasn't ready to make that trade yet. But I'm going to keep an eye on that tag for the next, 1 to 2 weeks to see if it starts making news, like the chlorine shortage and stuff like that. Because if it does, that would be a great opportunity. But again, getting back into a longer-term social arb trade, correct me if I'm wrong, a 50-pound dog consumes more dog food a day than a 10-pound puppy. Agreed?
Yes, but it might be at a lower price point because you go from the premium puppy food to the less premium adult dog food.
Because you don't care about look at the dog. You're like, yeah, you just eat what you eat. You're a dog.
I
don't
think
puppy, you're like, oh, we got to give it,
Dude, when I went to the dog store and I said exactly that. Do I need to do special puppy food? Like, no, it's the same thing. It's like it's the same food. So I don't think there's that big of a difference between what you would feed your puppy and a dog. And then once you start feeding it one thing,
yeah, that you're going to have to switch foods from the puppy formula to an adult formula. You might decide, well, do I need that $88 bag, or would this $35 bag do the trick?
Yeah, I'm gonna say the
Because
new
there's
generation.
multiple tiers of dog food. You know,
I'm going to say with the amount of money flying around and the new generation treating their pets like kids because they're having kids way later, that's not going to be a factor. I think people are going to continue to buy more premium dog food, even when their dogs get a year or 2 years old, the full size. I feel like that's an underappreciated ARB move. Is the simple concept of having it's like a baby boomer. Like we talk about having like a boom of babies and how that
We're
impacts
talking
things.
about so we've got Generation Dog Boomer. Your
Yes,
dog
and there's
is a dog boomer.
crazy number of puppies, right now that
Oh my
are
God.
about to grow into
I've got like
full-size
17
dogs.
new nicknames for my dog just like firing up in my head right now. Because that's my girl's favorite thing is when I come up with a new nickname for the dog. They're going to love it.
Listen, I'm just saying, yeah, and then
Dog
vet
boomer.
markets, right? Like, at what point do all these dog vet stocks, because there's a bunch of them now, I think, does your dog get old enough that they start killing it this generation of puppies start to age? It's all going to happen in like what 10 years. It's going to happen pretty quick.
yeah.
So anyway, that's enough about Chewy. But that if I as a social arb trader, that's kind of how I'm viewing the Chewy trade right now. I think dogs gaining weight and consuming more food naturally would dramatically increase revenue at Chewy, because isn't the majority of Chewy revenue just dog food?
Yeah,
Right?
because it's their subscription dog food. Yeah.
Yeah. So your dog gets bigger, it eats more food, because it's like you got to eat. It's correlated to your dog's weight. Like right now, my dog's
And so
doing.
like I feel like that's maybe part of it. I think the other is just the ease and adoption, right? And so once you get to a certain point and you've gone back and forth to Petco, and like the dog runs out of food, it's 4 a.m. You got to go to work later, and you're just picking up dog food. You're like, there's got to be a better way, and then there is. It's called a subscription from Chewy.
So
The other
that's
thing
like a whole nother
do you have
arb
any
then.
insight into Open Door? I've had a few people ask me this today, actually. I've had a few texts, and then I saw a couple comments. Any insight there?
In
What
Open
is
Door
driving?
or any of these e-home buyers or Zillow getting out of the market, like there's a lot to talk about there.
Yeah, so Zillow, I mean,
I'm actually surprised we haven't talked about that as a main topic for a day.
yeah.
Dave,
maybe we should.
I have a 2:00 call. I have to go in 1 minute.
Well, no, we're doing not today. But like maybe that's something we can talk about.
I'm just saying I have a 2:00 call. I just noticed I had a 2:00 call. But I want to apologize. Mike Murphy
it's
says
1:59 right now.
Yeah, Mike Murphy says we all seem exhausted. I am kind of exhausted. And yes, he thinks we might need a vacation. I do need a vacation. And thank goodness I have one coming. So
I do too.
Well, I just had one.
Where are you going?
We'll do a few days in New York for the holidays.
Nice.
Spend some time with family out there.
I'm going to do some time in Mexico. I'll bring the camera though, so we can have shows.
Listen, I want to reiterate, guys. I know we have disappointed with Social Arb episodes. We have not delivered on our promise to bring you more Social Arb. If there's not a Social
Arb, you don't do a Social Arb episode, though. We can't force a Social Arb episode to happen.
But I came up with the fix, Dave. I'm going to pay the community to come up with more episodes for us. So,
but it has to be it has to be good content. I don't want to just have any just because it's Social Arb.
No, I trust they will do a good job. So here again, I'm going to be handing out money every week, Venmoing money out to anyone that can come up with a solid idea, the best ideas every week in our dumbmoney.tv/Discord. Do a little high conviction report, talk about it in the research channel, surface this stuff. I'll pick out at least one thing a week. I'll Venmo you some cash, $100 to $10,000 on average. They'll probably be closer to 100 at first, but who knows? You come up with something killer, it could be 10K or more. So, guys, thank you so much. This has been. Listen, our Discord community, I really want to get you guys reinvigorated. I want to make a big trade for the end of the year. That's my goal. I want one big Social Arb trade for the end of the year.
I just saw the comment there that I'm going to Mexico. That means the market's going to crash. Last time I was in Mexico,
oh my God,
that was the beginning of the end for the stock market, and yet the beginning of the beginning for our profits.
Maybe you should go to Canada instead. Maybe it goes up when you go to Canada.
Yeah, it's an up
Holder.
market.
I don't know.
I do want to let everyone know that I just dropped.
We will talk about Open Door and Zillow on a future episode. We don't have time
we
today.
should do that next week.
Thanks for mentioning it.
And
Absolutely.
I want to mention that I put out a video on the 1 million views that my Mr. Beast video got, and I'm going to expose exactly how much money YouTube paid for those 1 million views, and also how much money the video raised for the Team C's. It is a YouTube short, so it doesn't get surfaced the same way. So if you go to my actual channel page on YouTube, it's not up in the upload section. It's not in the popular. You have to go down to the shorts section. So once again, I'm going to give $1 to Team C's for every like that the video gets in the first 24 hours. Maybe crazy doing that again, because maybe more people will find it. I don't know. Shorts is a different beast when it comes to how things get discovered.
Break Dave's bank. Make him go broke.
Do it. Do it. I want to give money to this cause, but I think it's fun to have people do that. So
all right, later,
that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. We are Dumb Money. We will be back next week with that open and well, there goes Chris. He had an actual phone call. We're Dumb Money. We'll see you next week.